Top 10 high revenue national parks for Airbnb. Okay, so recently Airbnb data provider AirDNA noticed quite an uptick in demand for national park revenue when it comes to Airbnbs. Many new hosts always ask me, Vince, what market should I target when they're considering buying, arbitraging, or co-hosting to start their Airbnb businesses? And while I don't usually recommend going way out of your way to try to find some crazy secret city, it's nice to know that there are some markets that are seeing some demand. So in this video, we're going to take a look at the top 10 national parks with surging demand for Airbnb hosting. That way you can see if it's worth starting or expanding your business there. If you're new here, I'm Vince from airpreneur.com. We help 9-to-5ers, real estate investors, and aspiring entrepreneurs create their own six-figure Airbnb businesses and automate them so they run completely passively. Adam, who's the co-founder, and I scaled our own business to 7 figures in less than 2 years, but more importantly, built a robust back end that allows the business to operate by itself. So Airbnb is a tremendous income vehicle if your goal is to free your time and create a business that can be managed from anywhere remotely. Now, just a disclaimer, if you live nowhere near any of the markets in this video and you're feeling stressed, just relax. You can absolutely 100% start your own Airbnb arbitrage or co-hosting business from anywhere, and it can likely find deals in your backyard just like me and my many students have. So if that's the case for you, just go ahead and check out this other video and I'll break down how you can prioritize markets near you instead of trying to fly like halfway across the country. Let's dive in. So before I list out these cities, let's explore how they were actually selected so you know what this all actually means. So first off, why national parks at all? So AirDNA points out a 104% increase in short-term rental demand since 2018 for national parks, and also expanding travel seasons to them. So this means that there's more opportunity for year-round revenue, which is big. Now, nature-style locations also offer unique experiences that can't really be achieved elsewhere like cities. So this means better sustainability long-term. So the main metric AirDNA uses here is what's known as high yield. This is calculated by dividing annual revenue potential on Airbnb divided by the average home prices for each submarket that serves a national park. Now, overall, higher yield for us means greater rate of return on investment. Now, even if you're like me and you're looking at this from an arbitrage standpoint, this also means that the rent rates are likely lower as well because it's going to correspond to the home price. So this is also applicable to us. Yield, however, does not tell the whole story. So my personal emphasis would be on the markets that have the highest revenue potential, because that likely means there's higher profit margins on arbitrage deals or co-hosting deals. Now, just one more final note here. I'll be looking at these from an actual cash flow perspective. A lot of the amenities and the views and the natural offerings and trees and all that stuff, like it's really nice, but it actually means nothing if they're not making money. It's important to take the emotional aspect out of things when looking at potentially creating Airbnbs, because we want to base our decisions on data, not necessarily just on a hunch. So I'll be giving you my personal comments throughout this video as we go through each market. Sorry, not sorry. So let's start with number 10. I might not pronounce this right, but number 10 is Kenai Fjords National Park in Alaska, known for its glaciers, marine wildlife, and coastline. So the average home price is $398,000 with an annual revenue potential of $55,000, giving us a yield of about 14%. Now, this is one of my favorites on this list since the revenue potential is actually fairly good for both arbitrage and co-hosting purposes, and things like glacier tours and wildlife cruises. It's also attractive to travelers. Number 9 is Hot Springs National Park in Arkansas, known for its thermal springs and historic bathhouses. The average home price is $267,000 with an annual revenue potential of $37,000. This gives us a yield of about 14% as well. Now, I do think the yield here is good considering home and rent prices are pretty low. However, revenue here is also pretty low too, so this might not be my first choice for arbitrage or co-hosting unless my goal was actually to purchase property. Number 8 is Badlands and Wind Cave National Parks. These are in South Dakota, known for their geological formations and wildlife. Average home price, $384,000 with an annual revenue potential of about $54,000, giving us a yield of about 14.1%. So I really like this market, considering you actually get 2 national park destinations here, which could overall mean this is a good long-term play. And the revenue range is pretty healthy here at about $54,000. So at the very least, co-hosting could really work out for us here if your objective is not to purchase property. Home prices, though, here are creeping up a bit, so this might not be the easiest market for everyone to access. Number 7 is Hawaii Volcanoes National Park in, of course, Hawaii. So this is cool. We've got active volcanic activity and tropical landscapes here. Average home price, which I'm really surprised at, is $271,000, given that it's Hawaii, with an annual revenue potential of about $38,000. This gives us a yield of about 14.2%. So there's a lot of things I do not like about this one. Again, considering the revenue range is not too high at all. And yes, the home prices are low, but Hawaii historically is also a very tough market with regard to regulations. So I think I'd pass on this unless I'm missing something here. I'm sure it's probably beautiful, but at the end of the day, the numbers just don't seem appealing to me. Number 6 is Indiana Dunes National Park, Indiana, offering beaches and biodiversity. Average home price here is $268,000 with an annual revenue potential of $39,000, giving us a yield of about 14.5%. I'm still not wowed by this list at all so far, to be honest, just given the revenue ranges and whatnot. Although one thing I like about this market is rents and purchase prices are very, very low. So because the purchase price of the home is so low, presumably rents are also very low, which would make this appealing for arbitrage deals. And also this market is easily accessible from Chicago and other Midwest cities. So in my mind, this means that this market is sure to grow down the line. So just a reminder, guys, with arbitrage, I will be renting a property, right? Furnishing it and then listing it on Airbnb, collecting a profit each month. So if it does $5,000 per month on Airbnb and I rented it for $2,000, assuming my cleaning and all utilities are another $1,000, then I would profit $2,000 per month. So having more revenue range here is really important for those types of deals. Same with co-hosting. With co-hosting, it means that the landlord furnishes the property, I list it on Airbnb for them, and then I just collect a percentage each month. So I pay for nothing, don't pay for furniture, don't have to sign a lease, I just collect a percentage. So if it does $5,000 a month, again, on Airbnb, and I take 20%, then I get $1,000. Now, in both of these scenarios, I want more revenue in my Airbnbs, right? That's what's one of the most important metrics here. If we have a lower home price and higher revenue, that also means that presumably the rents are low as well. So that means that from an arbitrage deal perspective, it probably makes sense. But let's keep going. So number 5 is Joshua Tree National Park in California, known for its desert landscapes and of course its iconic Joshua trees. The average home price is $345,000 with an annual revenue potential of $51,000, giving us a yield of about 14.6%. I actually love this market because one of my students recently landed a killer arbitrage deal here, profiting about $2,000 to $3,000 per month consistently. The revenue potential here is also pretty high. It's not unlikely for some properties here to do over $100,000, and the interest is growing a lot. The quality of the properties here and like the homes here are also spectacular. Number 4 is Isle Royale National Park in Michigan, offering hiking, boating, and scuba diving. Average home price, $320,000 with an annual revenue potential, $47,000, giving us a yield of about 14.8%. This looks pretty good in my mind, considering home prices and rents are average. Revenue potential is also on the higher end of average. So I think there'd be some potential here overall for whatever Airbnb method you're using. Number 3 is Voyageurs National Park in Minnesota, known for its water-based activities and stunning night skies. Average home price, $256,000. Annual revenue, $40,000, giving us a yield of about 15.4%. Numbers here are starting to look better, right? The home and rent prices are presumably pretty low because the home prices are very, very low, so rent prices must be low. Revenue range is still not too incredible here for arbitragers and co-hosters, but given the low prices, there should be some decent margins here. Number 2 is Mammoth Cave National Park in Kentucky, which is the world's longest known cave system. I did not know that. The average home price is $195,000 with an annual revenue potential of $33,000. That is a yield of about 17%. Still not blown away by revenue at all in most of these markets, to be honest, but the home prices here are so low, which means even with low revenues like $33,000, you've got to be seeing some decent returns. Like my typical aim in an arbitrage or co-hosting property is anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 per month in cash flow, right? And that may be possible here. And this market also has good proximity to Bowling Green. So I think if you're buying property, this is pretty solid. Finally, number 1 is New River Gorge National Park in West Virginia, known for its stunning canyons and whitewater rafting. So fun fact here, was actually redesignated as a national park in 2020, giving it some newfound interest. So this is crazy. The average home price is $147,000 with an annual revenue potential of $33,000, giving us a yield of about 22.5%. Really, really low pricing of homes and presumably rents here. So I'm still not floored by the revenue potentials, honestly. But given this ridiculously low pricing on housing, this is bound to have some decent margins, especially for buyers. I would think arbitraging would work out here as well, because if the home prices are $147,000, that means that rents have got to be at the floor. So given some thought to this list, I'd say that most of these markets are a bit more geared towards purchasing properties and Airbnb-ing them. Now, what's important here is doing thorough analysis on them would be key if you're a beginner, but otherwise, nonetheless, this is a decent list. Now, as I mentioned earlier, if you live nowhere near these locations, don't stress. You can certainly start your own six-figure Airbnb arbitrage or co-hosting business by targeting suburban markets, cities, or even rural areas. I'd check out some of the many videos that we have specifically on finding markets and targeting markets. Finally, if you're ready to start your own Airbnb business and accelerate your path to freedom with one-on-one guidance and mentoring, check the link in our description and let's chat to see if it's a fit for you. Otherwise, there's plenty of free content on this YouTube channel specifically for creating a multi-six-figure Airbnb business from scratch without having to buy any property. So just go ahead and subscribe and check out that content if that interests you. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this video.